Hello, whisperers. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoy tonight's tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It helps more than you know. Now, dim the lights, and let's begin tonight's story. I didn't think anything was wrong at first. It just felt like another long night on patrol. Cold, salt spray in my face. That weird, sleepy quiet the ocean gets at 3 a.m. I thought more about hot coffee than danger. Then we found the cruise ship. No lights, no movement, just drifting, like a huge hotel someone unplugged and forgot. We boarded from our small boat, 4 of us. I went first. The metal ladder was freezing. I could smell stale air leaking out the pilot door. I remember thinking it smelled empty, like nothing had lived in there for days. Inside, everything looked normal but wrong. Tables still set in the dining room, silverware neat, napkins folded. I kept expecting someone to walk around the corner and ask if we needed help, but every space felt staged, like a still image, like it was all waiting. We tried comms. Static. I whispered to the others without meaning to. It felt like the ship wanted us quiet. We moved slow. I kept my shotgun tight. My boots squeaked on a carpet where it was damp. I couldn't tell if it was water or something else. I kept telling myself nothing was here. That was a lie, and I think I already knew. We went toward the main theater because it gave us open space. I hated tight halls suddenly. Every door felt like a throat we were stepping into. Halfway there, I heard something tiny bounce once on metal. It came from a vent, just one little tap, like a nail clicking. Then nothing. Clay saw me freeze and his face went pale even though I hadn't said a word. We reached a lounge with mirrors everywhere, low ceiling, chairs turned toward a piano covered by a white sheet. I swear the sheet moved a little when we stepped in, just a tiny shiver, like something brushed under it. Ochoa lifted the corner with her boot. There was nothing. We left fast. Right before we reached the theater doors, I saw motion in the glass reflection next to me, low to the floor. Fast. I spun the light before I even thought about it. And I saw it for maybe half a second, about the size of a raccoon, blackish, plates like shell-knot fur, 6 jointed legs that hooked into the wall instead of just touching it, head shaped like a blunt triangle, no visible eyes. And the mouth, it opened sideways like a cut. It froze in the beam 1 heartbeat. Then it ran straight up the wall and into a vent slit so small I could barely fit my fist through it. Gone. We didn't speak for a long time. We just stood there listening to the ship breathe around us. And I remember thinking, if there's one, there's more. And we had just walked into their home. I didn't sleep for nights after this. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can picture how quiet Clay's face looked when it finally clicked for him that we were prey, not rescuers. We pulled back toward the atrium. Nobody talked. We didn't need to. Every little metal pop from the hull felt like a creature sliding somewhere nearby. The air felt warmer too, like the ship was holding breath. We decided we needed power. If we could get the emergency gen online, we could kill the dark. Dark was helping them. We pushed down toward the engineering. The ship wasn't messy. It wasn't destroyed. That made it worse. Every hall looked like someone paused reality mid-scene. Even the framed pictures on the wall looked like they were listening. Halfway to the lower deck, we heard sharp tapping again. This time faster, nervous, like claws moving across ducting above us. They tracked our rhythm. When we stepped slower, the tapping slowed. When we paused, they paused. They weren't psychic, but they were hunting sound. We started whispering only with hands after that. Boots heel-toe, weight low, in the stairwell down to engines. I saw a shape move along the underside of the railing, 20 feet below us. It was upside down, stuck to steel, moving like water rolling across glass. Park almost slipped. I grabbed his vest and held him steady. There's more than one. There's way more than one. Near the generator room, we found something that looked like piles of cracked black shell, like cicada shells, but thicker, chunks everywhere. Park nudged one with his boot. Molting, he mouthed. His face went sick. That meant they weren't at full size yet. They were still growing. They would get bigger. Inside engineering was pitch black. I used my red light, not to see everything, just enough to check corners. The smell in there was different, like battery discharge and rotten seaweed, that metallic fish smell that sticks to the roof of your mouth. Park dropped down by the gin panel and started flipping breakers and fuses like he was praying by numbers. Clay watched the ceiling, scanning left-right non-stop like his brain refused to blink anymore. Ochoa held her hand on the metal deck, feeling for vibration. She tapped my shoulder. She traced letters in the air with her finger, far left. I turned the light that direction. The creature was there, crouched between two big coolant lines. It didn't move. It just looked like a horrible sculpture. Legs bent wrong, plates rising like insect armor breathing. When Park clicked a breaker, the creature twitched. Sound triggered them. I mouthed, "Stop." He froze with his hand still on the panel. The creature lifted its head, not toward Park, not toward me, but toward the tiny hum the breaker had made, like a sonar ping, like it could hear through metal. Then, another noise answered from somewhere behind us. Same tapping, different rhythm. Ochoa grabbed Clay's shoulder and squeezed twice. That was her run-on-me signal. Very slow, very quiet. Park set his hand down. Gentle, soft. We moved backwards toward the stairwell, and I never took my light off that creature's head. I was scared if I blinked it would cross the whole room and be inside my face before I even got the safety off. We almost made the stairs clean. Almost. But Clay's radio slid off his plate carrier strap, and it bounced once on the deck with a sharp little clack sound. And everything exploded after that. Not gore, not a full kill scene, but a blur of movement. All from them. At least 3 slammed through vents and piping around us. A blast of claws and plates and that sideways mouth shape that I still see in dreams. But they never actually hit us. They were testing the perimeter, darting fast, coming in then peeling off, like sharks feeling the water around bait. We bolted up the stairs. We didn't fire, we didn't yell, we just moved. When we got back to the atrium, we slammed a steel service door shut between us and engineering and jammed a pipe through the handle. I leaned against a pillar, trying not to puke. My glove shook on my shotgun. Park whispered finally, "That wasn't random." I nodded. They weren't just hungry, they were patient. And they were waiting for the right sound to break us open. We needed space to think, somewhere the sound wouldn't echo. The theater was suicide. The casino was suicide. Every hallway felt like a death funnel. We ended up in the walk-in freezer off the main galley. The cold hit so hard my teeth hurt. We closed the latch and killed our lights. For the first time since boarding, nothing moved, nothing tapped, nothing clicked. They didn't follow us in here. Park mouthed, "They don't like cold." We didn't know why. We didn't care. It was the first rule we could actually trust. I leaned against the freezer wall and tried to slow my breathing. My hands felt numb. Clay was shaking, and it wasn't from cold. Ochoa kept her shotgun tight against her chest like she needed to feel something real pressing back. I remember thinking we were never supposed to see these things. Not people like us, not regular Coast Guard. After maybe 10 minutes of silence, we formed a plan. Fast as we could, we'd sprint from freezer to the stairwell, straight to the pilot door, and drop to the small boat. No engine room, no power, no hero stuff, just leave. We opened the freezer door slow. The warm air outside felt like stepping into a throat again. We took 3 steps back into the galley, and the ship answered us. Soft, far, like someone dragging nails on piano wire inside ducting. Hundreds of tiny notes, all over, all directions, like they had been waiting for the first noise we made coming out. We ran. We didn't look behind us. I didn't want to see how many there were. I only remember the sound of claws tearing along the walls around us. The ship shook. Something slammed into a vent so hard it dented outward just inches from Clay's head. His scream felt like it lived in the back of my skull for days. We reached the pilot door and climbed down so fast we almost fell. The small boat engine finally coughed to life, and we cut away from the hull. They didn't follow into open water. They stayed on the ship, guarding it, owning it. When we got back to the cutter, nobody believed how fast we wanted to leave the area. Nobody believed how quiet we were. We didn't sleep. We didn't even talk. We just stared at that cruise ship as it got smaller and smaller. It still drifts out there. No one ever found bodies. No one ever traced the radio call. Every now and then, a vessel reports strange AIS flickers around that same region, like the ship pops back into existence on chart for a second, then is gone again. And sometimes, late at night, when it's real still outside, I swear I hear that tapping on my bedroom wall. Not loud, not constant, just patient. Like it knows I'm alone.